agent can't do two things, and that's find property before it even comes on the market, and doesn't know how to write up a contract that is favorable to sellers and puts you in a good position, yeah, your realtor sucks. Damn! Today we're gonna answer some questions on Reddit. The first one is this article, I'm gonna read it. Buyer's remorse beginning to cause depression. A young woman bought a home and paid $40K over asking, and now she has all of these problems. She has roaches, she doesn't love her neighbors, and she's really kind of gotten into this funk. Now this is gonna be a problem for a lot of people, especially moving into 2024 and 25, where they bought in 21 at this crazy peak. What I would tell this person if she was sitting right here is, hey, even if you paid 40 grand over asking, at whatever interest rate she got, which I assume is probably under 2.5%, it's all about monthly payment. So as long as she, bought with a longer term outlook, she's gonna be fine. I would argue that she's probably paying less than she would have paid in rent, so it's gonna be just fine. The other thing I would say is everyone, I don't care if you're buying a studio or apartment or you buy this mansion in the western suburbs, everyone is gonna have what I like to call a welcome to home ownership moment. Hers happens to be roaches. We just had water bugs coming out of our pipes. It is what it is. If you're not ready for these types of things to happen, maybe you should stay renting. I don't want to take a shot at this person, but everyone's gonna have one of those moments where they're like, oh, where's my landlord to take care of this? We're gonna take a look at this question, I guess. House we are under contract on to purchase in 2 weeks has significant fire damage from a fire last night. Any advice? So I'm gonna give you an example that kind of just occurred. We had a buyer who was under contract on a home, and like a week before closing, the unit above flooded their house. Now, huge headache, right? Lawyers are involved and all that, but ultimately, sometimes, depending on the situation, it could be a blessing in disguise. Because there's usually this big insurance payout and, by proxy, this huge renovation, my buyers in this circumstance were able to get brand new floors, brand new kitchen, brand new appliances because some of this stuff was damaged. The price doesn't change, but they're able to get all of this new stuff. So depending on the circumstances, and hopefully you have a good attorney and agent who can walk you through kind of the dynamics of it, you might actually end up in a better situation than you think. The headline of this one is, does our realtor suck? And we love this question. In this particular circumstance, the person's agent isn't getting back to them quick enough. The terms of these offers that they're writing aren't strong enough, and sellers aren't, accepting them. And then finally, she's having to schedule her own showings. Let's answer this in two parts. One, if your agent can't do two things, and that's find property before it even comes on the market, and doesn't know how to write up a contract that is favorable to sellers and puts you in a good position, yeah, your realtor sucks. The second part, if you can't get an agent to answer you, you can't get an agent to meet you on time, yeah, your agent sucks. Find a new agent. This one's actually pretty easy. Well, what I would do, honestly, is start interviewing right away. The easiest way is to find someone who had a good experience and just use their realtor. If you have friends or family, use theirs. It's, a tried and true way. If you don't have another option, what I would do is simply go onto your favorite search portal, and you can look at, every site has an agent search feature, and then look for someone who has, I would argue, in the last 24 months, has at least 24 sales. So that would be my advice to you if you've got a bad agent. We're gonna take a look at this one, and for once, someone is actually patting their real estate agent on the back. It says, realtor convinced me to list at a lower price, and that mofo was right. Here's the story. The house was worth about $500. They were thinking about listing at $499. The realtor convinced them to list lower at $475. Interest rates had gone up so much, buyer demand was so low, they eventually listened to this person. They got multiple offers in the first weekend, and it eventually sold for $515, $515. So what does this tell you? And this is something that we tell sellers all the time. We lead the horse to water. We can't make them drink. Hey, it doesn't actually matter what we price at. The market is gonna take care of your price on its own. What our job is to get as many human beings into your home and show it to as many people as possible to generate that demand, to to generate a little bit of competition, and that is what's going to drive your price up. Myself and every realtor in the country is having this conversation, I don't want to say argument, day in and day out with their sellers. Sellers still think that they want to price high, and we've heard it a million times, leave some room for negotiation. That's not always the best case, right? Especially right now when buyers aren't out in droves, interest rates are higher, which means that their buying power is slightly lower. Everyone is sensitive to price, but if we can get them in the door, get them to fall in love, and then they see that there's some more competition, they won't be afraid to go back to that price that we originally thought. If you have some of your own questions, follow me, leave a comment, and I'll be sure to answer them for you.